Hey, this is Jacob with JL Acres again. I just wanted to show a little bit, now that it is spring, of our multi 12 or 14 way cover crop, what it looks like now that winter is over. Hopefully you can hear me through this recording. It's been kind of windy recently, and I've tried to do some other videos, but the wind has kind of been making it a little bit more difficult. You can see we're at the very end of the field. This was wheat last year, and then I had strip grazed it, and we were at the very end with my fencing. There was about 20 or 30 feet that I just didn't have enough fencing for. I know that sort of amount I could have gone and got some, but I didn't. It offers a nice comparison here. You can see the field is very green. To be honest, I think that's most of this grass out here is voluntary wheat, I think. But this winter we had snow cover on it for almost the entire winter, which is pretty unusual. Usually we have snow and then it melts and then it snows again. But with the snow cover, the ground did not freeze as hard as it normally does. So you can see right here, this is a turnip that has survived the winter, which is very unusual. This would, 9 years out of 10, this would die off. And you can kind of see there some of those root hairs there. They're very fine and more white. Those are new just this year. And so I think what would happen, you can maybe even see there, it's putting out kind of a new base. In the spring, this is gonna, it's already, you can see, starting to get a little knob there that's gonna bolt. It's gonna put on flowers and seeds. So if I'd plant turnips when the sun length is getting longer, like in the spring, it doesn't make the big tuber. It'll have a little bit more of a smaller fibrous root system and then put a flower head on. Whereas when you plant this in the later half of the summer, when the daylight is decreasing, it puts on these big tubers. So you can see there, the lighter roots are the new ones. My phone is not good at getting things to focus. You can see there is some clover here that's coming. Some of that, there was a little bit of sweet clover I had in the mix, which is probably what some of this is. I would bet that's a sweet clover. But yeah, most of this grass I'm assuming is volunteer wheat. That means the combine didn't collect it. It went out the back of the combine and then regrew. But there's a chance, because of the light winter that we had, some of it could be oats, I guess. But the calves were out here last fall and they grazed it down pretty low. But you can see it's regrowing. Now compare this to the stuff on the other side of the fence. It's a little bit taller because it was never grazed. But this side would catch up pretty quickly. I'm actually getting the fence ready here today to let some calves back out here for a little bit this spring. And this is going to be a soybean field this year. Over here, I think it's right over here, I've got the test plot. You can see back some of the other videos that I did, some different strips. Let's see now. Might not even be able to find where it's at. Because the test plot is all pretty well died away. See, now I can't find it. It's somewhere in this section. I think it was over here. I think this is where I had like a strip of sorghum and foxtail and all that stuff, and most of that has all, you can see, winter killed, like what it was supposed to. But in the rest of this field, I think because it had a chance to grow a little bit longer, the turnips survived. They didn't winter kill. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, we'll put the calves out here for a little bit, save some feed, let their permanent pasture regrow a little bit, and then we'll work this under probably mid-May or so and plant soybeans. And this is pretty exciting. We're going to be doing a large-scale trial with a new company, new to us company, Advancing Eco Agriculture. You can look them up, AEA. John Kempf is the founder, and I've been listening and researching about this for a good while now, and I convinced my brother to try it. So we're going to be trying some of their products on actually this whole field. We're combining these two fields. Down the middle here, since we've got, this was corn last year, this was wheat, we're going to leave a little bit on each side as kind of a control and not apply any of their products. We're going to just kind of do our standard application in the middle. And I'll explain more of that in future videos. I'll probably do a whole series just kind of explaining our Advancing Eco Agriculture AEA journey, what that's like, how it's going. So you can definitely look forward to that. This field over here was corn, and in the very late fall into October, I should say, we're now in mid, it's April 15th, I think, today. I went in the fall, in I think it was October or sometime, and I seeded some rye, and I seeded it very lightly. Like you can see, like here is a rye plant and there is a rye plant, because I was afraid if I seeded it too thick, we wouldn't be able to terminate the rye if it got really big and like 6 foot tall and a mess. So I seeded it really light. This is only about 20 pounds to the acre, which, I mean, I don't even know if you can see it on there. It's really light. This is a little bit thicker over here compared to some of that over there. I think when I do that this fall, I'm gonna go for more like 40 pounds to the acre at least. But we'll see. Maybe come mid-May when we go to get ready to do beans, this will all be grown up big and I'll be satisfied with how it looks. So yeah, it's a cover crop, but it's just a little cover crop. Not doing as much as it could do, but just for logistics and being able to do field work, I didn't want to put it on too heavy and make a mess. If it looked like the field over in the distance there, I've got some wheat. Maybe I'll walk over there real quick and show you guys. If it was that thick, as thick as the wheat field, and we waited till mid-May, we would have a very hard time being able to get into it with our system, since we can't use any sprays. Unless we would do a roller crimp, which is another experiment we're trying. That's going to be a whole separate video. Stay tuned for that one too. But roller crimp needs to be early, because you can see this wheat, so this rye was planted like late October, mid-October, and you can see there's weeds growing up here in the middle. Like here, that looks like a ragweed right there. And so and I'll explain this more in the roller crimp video, you want your rye to be thick enough that it's going to shade out these weeds. But if it's that thick, then it's really hard to do any sort of tillage. So it's either one or the other, and if you go too far one way or not far enough on the other, it just makes things a little bit more difficult. So that's what we've got going on here. Just want to give you mostly an update here on this this field here. That was a 14-way cover crop mix, and you can see the sorghum that we had here, you know, that's all winter killed down. The calves stripped all the leaves off of it and left the stalk. This is our sun hemp stalk that's left. They eat the leaves, but leave that. You can't even see traces of a lot of the other stuff. You know, here's an oats head. I'm guessing the oats did not actually make it to full maturity, so I'm not worried about them regrowing. So that's what it looks like. Some wheat survived, we had turnips survive, and we've got a little bit of clover. More clover than probably what I'd like, but it's there, and there's worse things that we could have growing. So that's where things are at, and we'll continue to keep you updated. Lots of exciting things happening. I hope you guys stay tuned.